Hi everyone, Mike Wolf here. Welcome to another edition of Entrepreneurs Making a Difference. We love to bring in, entrepreneurs doing all kinds of great things and not just making money for themselves, but actually contributing, giving back, and helping other people. And that's what this show is all about, is connecting all these different people that otherwise, might not have ever met, and having them potentially collaborate and doing joint ventures together and who knows what else. So today I'd like to welcome Scott Harrell. I'm going to just read his bio before we bring him on here. He helps business owners and entrepreneurs enhance their success in several key areas. So he does marketing, including web implementation, social media content development, computer consulting. He specializes in the Mac operating system and iOS platforms and mixed networks. He's done graphic design and advertising for product launches and marketing campaigns. And it sounds like he's kind of going into the financial insurance and benefits realm, including life, health, and retirement strategies. So first of all, welcome, Scott. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me, Mike. It's great to see you.
Yeah, great to see you too. You have obviously a very diverse bunch of interests, and you're doing quite a few different things. What's your passion? What lights you up?
My passion, I have to say, is connecting people and connecting different entities, and also helping other people find their niche or their best way to develop their careers. I've also been trying to concentrate on helping folks who maybe have been downsized, like middle-aged people who suddenly got laid off and now they're looking for alternative ways to approach the rest of their life, and that's something I can certainly relate to. So that's one of my passions. Okay. Also, just interacting with other entrepreneurs and finding out there's so much talent and so many heart-focused people out there that's been an inspiration for me this last year.
Yeah, well, I know you always come to our, as a lot of listeners know, we run a meetup group in LA every month called Making a Difference, and you're definitely a regular face around there. We appreciate you coming there, and I know you add a lot of value to a lot of people there, and I'm hoping some of the people there add value to you as well.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, it's been great. Really super people, including you.
I'm always very humbled by the type of people that we get to hang out with every month, and it's just so inspiring.
It is, and not only that, just people know other people that, like some of the people that I've looked up to and would like to meet one day, and suddenly they're coming into my life, and that's really rewarding and very exciting.
Yeah, well, that's what makes it so important. Not just for this group, but networking in general, because one, you never know who you're going to meet, and I truly believe that the right people will come into your life at the right time. But I think you can speed up the process by purposely putting yourself out there as much as possible. And for a lot of people, that's really getting out of their comfort zone. I love to network, but a lot of people find that challenging. But when you get out of your comfort zone, that's where all the best stuff happens. And not only do you not know who you're going to meet, but also who do they know, and that's also really important, who's in their network.
Absolutely true, and I've really gotten out of my comfort zone the last couple of years, and it's no regrets. And the other area that's been talking about comfort zone is I've had kind of parallel careers for several years where I've done my creative side with graphics and design, but I'm also a licensed insurance agent, and those are kind of two not so compatible realms. Like a right brain, left brain. But now I'm working on a project that's finally bringing all the things that I love, which is both worlds, together into one project, and that's something I'm in development with a partner right now, and it's very exciting because it's going to be an opportunity to offer financial services solutions to entrepreneurs and also boomers that are nearing retirement. Plus, I'm heavily involved with the marketing and the strategizing and developing the platform, so it's something I'm very, very jazzed about right now.
Yeah, that sounds very interesting, and it is unusual to have talents where you have that creative, artistic side, and also you have the financial side, because very few people have that. So you're very fortunate to have that dichotomy going on, because a lot of times people like myself, I know what I'm good at, and I also know where my limitations are, and I have to outsource a lot of things, and I have to have a lot of people behind me to make me look good and make me successful. And you're actually in a position where you're actually can do both sides of the equation at the same time, as long as you don't obviously let yourself get overwhelmed, because technology can sometimes, at least for me, can sometimes definitely overwhelm you.
Yeah, I'm almost to that point, but fortunately, once we get the platform in place, I'll be able to make use of other resources to free up my time. But yeah, it's been a long time issue for me because there things have been out of sync, but now it's coalescing very nicely.
Well, that's great. That's good to hear. So, um, what was I going to ask you here? Let me ask you this. Every entrepreneur that I know, there's always one really big moment in their life, or maybe it was a book, or maybe it was somebody they met. There's always one big event that changes your life and puts you on that path where all of a sudden you have to be an entrepreneur, you have to find or do your calling. Was there something specific? Was there a certain book or a certain person that you met, or what influenced you to get doing some of the stuff that you're doing right now?
Well, I've always been kind of interested in having my own business, and I got into computers in the mid '80s when I learned the Mac platform. But in terms of trying to make a life that has purpose, a foundational book that really changed my life was The Way of the Peaceful Warrior by Dan Millman. Got an autographed copy. And that's a great book because it's a story about a guy who his life is transformed through a spiritual advisor. And it has a lot of lessons that you can apply to your own life. And that was like a gateway to higher consciousness and personal development that I've been following ever since. And that's going back to about 1987. And along the
Wow.
way, there have been other mentors that have influenced me quite a bit, like Neil Donald Walsh, Conversations with God, and Dr. Wayne Dyer, people like that who are focused not only on just having like financially rewarding life, but also having a spiritually and soul-centered or heart-centered rewarding life. And that's the most important thing, and that's what gets me up every day.
Well, that's cool, and I think you bring up a good point, because so many people focus on just the money in a lot of cases. They just focus on one thing, and I think having that balance and having congruency in your life is really the key to happiness, and having everything kind of in check. And so many people just focus on one thing and they kind of forget about all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure there'll be phases where you have to work 80 hours a week, but hopefully that's not your entire lifestyle, because then you'll crash and burn. And finding balance is definitely a challenge, especially I'm a family guy, and there's a lot of directions you need to be pulled in, but if you can remember that the true mission is to find a purpose in your life and live through that, then it makes things a lot easier. You're a little bit more patient, and maybe you don't worry so much about keeping up with the Joneses, and you can find what's more rewarding and resonates with your heart. And you'll also find that reflected in the people that you work with and come across. You'll find that those people as well are the kind ones, the loving ones, who are interested in helping others. They're not just out for themselves. And that's the world I want to live in. And
Right, right,
I
and
know you do as well.
yeah, I know the circles that you travel in are very similar to the ones that I do, and we're, like I said, very fortunate that we get to hang out with those types of positive, giving people, and that's, I mean, the whole point of the show is to connect those type of people. That's our tribe, and so we're both very fortunate to be traveling in those circles. But let me ask you, I see you obviously at a lot of the same events that I go to.
Mm-hmm.
Who are some of the, like, of some of the speakers that we go to, some of the big, it doesn't have to be big, but some of the people that you've seen speak, who are some of your favorites, and what impact have they had on you and your life and career?
Well, right offhand, I'd say Brendan Bouchard, because he's so dynamic and so energetic, and he's really helped a lot of people identify that they can be known as an expert in what their passion is, and he's helped people facilitate making that happen in their lives. And also, I was delighted to share those 4 days with you recently with Marcia Wieder. She was I think she's a very profound thinker, and she's really got a lot of value to add to our community, and I hope to be able to work with her sometime in the future. Those are two that come to hand
Yeah, good
immediately.
choices. As you know, I'm a huge fan of both, and I actually volunteer for Brendan Burchard, and so I see it at his events all the time, and he had a huge impact on my life as well. And yeah, we're very fortunate to have Marcia as a member of the Making a Difference group, and actually we'll be interviewing her shortly as well. But um, it's so important, I think personally, and I know you feel the same way. Education and personal development and all this stuff to just keep working on ourselves. We can't help other people until we help ourselves, and it's so important to keep up with that. And we're both very fortunate, like I said, to be able to go to these sorts of events and hang out with not just the people on the stage, but also the people in the audience are definitely the people going forward. They're going to be making changes in this world with us.
Yep, some truly amazing folks, and I feel blessed to be part of a group like that. And it's funny, I've met a lot of people from Calgary that are into this type of thing, so it's definitely a place I'll have to visit in the near
Yeah,
future
you should come.
when the weather's good.
Yeah, and actually, I just did an interview with Alan Chong, who we met at Marcia Wieder's event recently,
Uh-huh.
and it was kind of funny because he spoke up, and you immediately brought him over to me when you found out he was from Calgary, and I appreciate that.
Sure. Yeah, he's a cool guy.
So, as you know, this show is called Entrepreneurs Making a Difference. So, what are some of the things that you've either done or want to do, or where do you see things going for you in terms of making a difference on this planet?
Well, like I said earlier, I see myself as a messenger and a connector, and I like to bring people together, like you evidenced recently. And I also kind of like a coach, although I don't promote myself as a coach. I like to help people get to the next level. A lot of people seem to be stuck on what should I do next. I try to be helpful and give them suggestions and training if it's appropriate, whether it's basic computing skills or entrepreneurial concepts. I get a lot of satisfaction from that. And probably the biggest mission that I'm still developing in terms of how I look at the world is to remember that we are all spiritual beings with so much more power than we ever bring forward, probably because we're stuck in these human bodies that are limited, so we can't even think of how grand everything actually is. So the nearest thing that we can do is remember that and then focus on merging our heart's intent and our minds and putting those two powers together, and that's where we're going to take off. That's my mission and my passion right now, if I correctly answered the question.
Yeah, no, absolutely, and no, very well said actually. And it is limiting having these crazy human bodies. I'm trying to shed mine, but that's another story. Um,
I'm not in any rush to shed mine.
there you go. Well, not in that way. I don't want to die. Didn't mean it that way. Anyway, so one of the things I noticed, you said you've been working on going back to technology here for a second. You've been working on the Mac operating system since the '80s, and back then I used to make fun of people with Macs. So
Yeah.
how did what was going on back then? I know it had a very small but very loyal following back then. Of course, they've turned into a huge powerhouse of a company, as we know, and I'm a big Apple guy now. But back in the '80s, what kind of stuff were you doing on the Mac, and were people making fun of you, or is it just me?
Oh yeah. Well, before the Mac, I worked for a cable TV company that had mainframe computer systems, so I learned a lot about computer technology and a little bit about programming. And then I kind of happened into a job that was it was a mail order company for PC-based software. Remember Lotus 123?
Oh yeah, that's going
Boy,
back.
that's going way back. It was a company that was selling Lotus 123 templates and enhancements. But in the art department in the back was this little funny beige computer And the guy who hired me, who was a great mentor of mine because he taught me a lot about graphic arts, said, "Hey, go ahead, check this thing out." And it was very new back then. They didn't even have PageMaker. I mean, it was the very early days of the Mac. So by coincidence, I learned the Mac just as the whole desktop publishing industry was being developed, and I got an early head start with that. I had one of the first laser printers in the Southern California area, and had my own business in 1986 doing desktop publishing. So I never gave up on the Mac, and ironically, I always worked with people who were involved with PC, so I've always been connected. So there's that left brain, right brain thing again. But now everybody uses Macs, and it's made a lot of, well, not everybody, but many of the
They
people
really
who
should.
do creative work, it makes it very simple because the tools are easy to use and they don't break. And plus, there's still a lot that I can teach folks, so it's been good.
Yeah. So being a techie that you are, what do you think of where technology is headed? I mean, some people are, we have that old 1984 thing where technology is a really bad thing, and it's kind of funny because back, when I was in school, we'd read 1984, and people would say about Big Brother watching you, and here
Right.
we are purposely putting our lives out there intentionally, and Big Brother doesn't even have to go looking for us because we're actually
We're serving it
volunteering
up, yeah.
pretty much everything. I mean, with social media and stuff, our whole lives are online now. So what do you think of where technology is headed? Do you see it as a good thing? I mean, I personally do
Oh, of
now.
course, yeah. I've always loved technology, and if you think back to like 1990, we didn't have the internet yet, and that was just a little over 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's
And it's
amazing.
changed everything. I mean, it's allowed people to be connected in a way that's unprecedented. So here
Yeah.
we are, you're a couple thousand miles away, and it's just like you're in the next room.
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
So
it's
how
fascinating.
great is that?
Oh,
So I think
absolutely.
Google Hangout, that's been a kind of a major breakthrough, and it's also allowed Google Groups to get a foothold in social media. So I could see that growing where maybe Facebook might kind of max out. Remains to be seen. Of course, we don't know what new technology is going to come in 6 months or a year that could just totally change the game all over again. It's kind of exciting.
Yeah, well, it does change. So I mean, it is technology is evolving so quickly, and a lot faster than the human brain is evolving, and so sometimes there is that a lot of people getting overwhelmed, and you finally figure out a platform, figure out how to use Facebook or Twitter or Pinterest or whatever it is, and then something new comes out just when you finally
Yeah,
think you have it figured out.
it's true. So you just roll with it and find what's a good fit for yourself, and also a good means to communicate with your audience, whether it's your clients or people that you're trying to reach. And if you talk about concerns about privacy, I just assume at some level we don't really have any privacy. So if you worry about identity theft, or it's a pointless concern. I just assume you might as well just accept it and not worry about it, and just try to use the technology to your advantage.
Yeah,
So
we don't
so
seem we
far
don't have
so
much
good.
choice anymore, do we?
No, so why, you could be miserable trying to fight that, but uh, I surrender gladly.
Exactly, exactly. So, so now you said you're merging some of your skills. You're bringing in some of this financial and insurance stuff, and you're mixing it with
Right.
your tech background. And are you in a position where you can elaborate on what that's going to look like and what you're
Sure.
exactly building?
Well, the platform is in development right now, and I've partnered with another agent. I am a licensed life and health agent, and my partner has about 30 years experience. He's a certified financial planner. So he has a lot of experience working with high net worth individuals. And so many people got burned from the 2008 Wall Street meltdown that both are in agreement that there is a mission to provide means for people to protect their money so that they can have a comfortable retirement, and also be prepared because inevitably there's going to be another stock market crash. We don't know when, but a lot of the doomsayers are predicting at least a 50% drop in the Dow. So we have a system that will allow people to protect their wealth, and then that will ensure that they'll have a comfortable retirement and they'll be able to take care of their families. So our platform will be a means of providing education about how that's done, and then also using that marketing to get leads to have new clients who will be able to, we can sit down with them and see how that system can work for them. Ultimately, with financial services, it does become a one-on-one proposition, which is a little bit limiting in terms of an internet platform, but getting the message out is going to be a real strong feature that we're going to be able to offer. And we're expecting a rollout sometime in early June. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's just around the corner. So, so good for you, and it obviously, you know, it helps even if you were contracting out a lot of the tech stuff, for example. It's good to know the inner workings because it gives you a lot more, I guess, confidence in what's being built.
Exactly, and it's allowing me to map out how we're going to implement this platform. And a year and a half ago, I would not have been able to do it. So I've learned a lot just in that time. So it's really exciting.
Wow, that is exciting. Yeah. So where do you see this going? Where do you plan? How far do you plan on taking this? And is it, you know, as you mentioned, this becomes a kind of a personal one-on-one thing ultimately. So, you know, could this become a bigger, you know, how scalable, I guess, is it?
Well, it's scalable in terms of delivering the message, and we're going to be doing some seminars. So our marketing platform will include invitations to events where we'll be able to speak to a group. But again, ultimately, you have to have a one-on-one relationship with the agent and the client. So that means if it becomes more successful, we'll have to hire more agents to facilitate that process. But there's a lot of you know, legal ramifications and compliance issues that are involved in that type of thing. So you can't just blindly sell over the internet, and also you have to be licensed in the particular state that you're selling in, and other details like that. But
Right.
most agents don't. Most financial people or insurance agents don't have any strong venue for marketing at all. So a lot of them are using kind of cookie cutter approaches, and that hasn't been successful for most of them. And I think our strategy is going to be a little bit different.
Yeah, very cool. Well, it obviously is going to give you a competitive advantage at what you're doing. So, so we need to wrap this up here pretty quickly. But if you had one message that you could put out to the listeners and to the universe, what would that message be?
I'd say to remind people that there's greatness in all of us, and when we work together, we can do amazing things and even change the world. And no matter where you are right now, whether you just like lost everything and you're virtually homeless and have to start over, every day is a new day. There's always an opportunity to change your life in profound ways, and it can make a fantastic life no matter where you're starting from. And I'm a testament to that.
Wow, those are some powerful words, Scott. Thank you so much for putting that out there. So if somebody wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way for them to do that?
Easiest would be we can connect on Facebook or directly to my email, scott@scottharrell.com. If you want, I can spell that out.
Yeah, please do.
It's SCOTTHARRELL.com. Scott@scottharrell.com.
Great. Well, thank you very much. We appreciate you being here, Scott, and sharing your insight and wisdom. And as always, good to see you.
Likewise, and Mike, thank you so much. It's a fantastic opportunity, and I hope it grows into something that's even beyond yours and my expectations, into something that maybe in a couple of years we'll look back and go, hey, remember we started that? Look at what's happening now. I think it's going to be fun.
Wait. Well, I'm not one to give up, so we will be still doing this in a couple of years, I guarantee it.
Same here. So I hope I'll be able to help you as well.
Oh, well,
So
I
thank you
appreciate
so
that.
much for the opportunity.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Thanks so much, Scott. And thanks to all of you people that are tuning in and either viewing this or listening to this. And I look forward to talking to you in the next episode. We'll see you then.
Okay. Bye bye.